afternoon to you and thank you for joining us here. We are live from right outside Vidhana Soudha in Bengaluru. It's the seat of power in Karnataka. All the action happening in Bengaluru for now, although there are indications that it could soon shift to the national capital. We're going to be talking about what is the key decision that the High Command is going to be making, why it's such a tightrope walk for the High Command, and also about how the High Command is looking at the strengths and the weaknesses, the option 1, the option 2, all the options on the table for the High Command, and why it's not an easy decision for the High Command to make. We're going to be having experts on the broadcast with us. We also have our reporters Imran and Neha joining us on the broadcast. But as we begin, the biggest factor in Karnataka, remember, elections in Kerala and Tamil Nadu also scheduled for 2026. So any decision that is taken in Karnataka could also echo in these two states. Coming just weeks after the embarrassing loss in Bihar, that's also weighing in the minds of the High Command. How is that really going to play out for the High Command? What is the decision that is going to be that the High Command is going to think of? We're going to be talking about that. But as far as the caste factors are concerned, remember, we're talking about a direct battle between Siddaramaiah and DK Shivkumar. Who is it going to be? In Siddaramaiah, the High Command has a leader who has the experience. Status quo would also ensure that things go on, even if it means some rebellion. But on the other hand, you have DK Shivkumar, who is a charismatic leader, but not with the kind of mass appeal that Siddaramaiah actually enjoys. He is the money bags of the Congress party. But will they really want to rock the boat at this moment or not is going to be the big question. There have been a lot of meetings taking place. Joining on the us on the broadcast is MC Abbas and Ashok Gowda. Thank you so much for joining us. Before I come to you, let's take in a quick word from my colleagues Imran and Neha to find out the activity that has been picking up. And Imran, meetings, a lot of lunch meetings, dinner meetings, a lot of talk about the entire action shifting to Delhi. What's the latest?
Well, despite all the fights which are happening today, both CM and Deputy CM shared the stage over a public program. And now what we saw, as you rightly mentioned out in the morning, there has been series of breakfast meetings. B.K. Hariprasad met with Minister K.H. Muniappa along with former MP Chandrappa and other OBC leaders. We also had Priyank Kharge meeting DK Shivkumar at his residence for breakfast, and some of the supporters of DK Shivkumar and also Chief Minister met the Chief Minister today at his residence over breakfast, and we've seen that these breakfast meetings are continuing. Last night too, DK Shivkumar had gone to Delhi. He said that it's a personal visit. There were ministers and MLAs who also came and met within the camps which has been forming. Also the mathas within the different caste communities also putting pressure on High Commands. The Vakaliga Swamiji also met DK Shivkumar today, including Naga Sadhus, to give him blessings and also express their support. In fact, Vakaliga community held a meeting yesterday comprising of both JDS, BJP and Congress leaders from there, unanimously saying that DK Shivkumar Vakaliga should be made as a Chief Minister, to which BK Prasad gave out a press conference today, retorted saying that those who supported Narendra Modi and BJP should not dictate terms to Congress, saying that Vakaliga community had, along with JDS, has tied up alliance with BJP, should not be in a position to dictate Congress as to what needs to be done in far as the Chief Minister is concerned. So hectic political activity, not just over the CM issue, but communities also gathering and gaining momentum, to rallying behind their community leaders and also demanding larger share of the pie in this issue. And in the midst of the CM issue, there's also a section saying that if there should be a change of Chief Minister, there should be a Dalit Chief Minister, not a Vakaliga.
Okay, so if DK Shivkumar actually says openly that yes, I want to be the Chief Minister, it could open up a can of worms for the High Command, and that's where the problem really comes in. But either decision that the Congress party makes, there could be loss. So it's a lose-lose situation, as we were just discussing, because on one hand, if DK Shivkumar is not made the Chief Minister, there could be a backlash from the Vakaliga community. If Siddaramaiah is not picked, then there could be a backlash from the Kuruba community and also from the entire Ahinda vote bank that Siddaramaiah has really cultivated. But let's talk about some of the reactions that have been coming in. Some direct reactions talking about change is coming, while some are also going to say that the High Command will take the final decision.
See, that is in the hands of High Command. My party high command will take a call at the right time. Ultimately, high command has to take a decision.
Is there a delay, sir, on behalf of the High Command in deciding?
They will intervene at the right time when it is necessary. Congress was, is and will be united.
So we will be united, but there could be some changes. These are some of the reactions that have been coming in. Clear war of words between DK Shivkumar and Siddaramaiah that we've not seen in the recent times, making it clear that patience is wearing thin for DK Shivkumar. Abbas, is this a clear indication that there could be a change? What do you see actually happening in Karnataka, and why is it such a tough decision for the High Command?
It is two strong leaders, Pratibha. As a matter of fact, as we all know, Siddaramaiah is one of the tallest leaders in the political history of Karnataka. As a matter of fact, not just Karnataka, but in India too. Also, if you look at after Lord Baswanna, if there was a social revolutionary moment which came in through, it was through Siddaramaiah's Ahinda movement, taking together the OBCs, the SCs, STs. Undoubtedly, he is the biggest strongman of the Kuruba leaders as well. But when you look at the Vokkaliga community, undoubtedly, DK Shivkumar is a strong man. He's a master strategist. He's a troubleshooter and a rainmaker who makes the party win elections. But even if you look at the Vokkaliga vote, it is divided. It's divided with the Devegowda ji, Kumaraswamy ji, Ashwath Narayan ji. Vokkaliga community splits its votes with Congress, JDS and BJP. But here, the Ahinda movement and Kuruba stands sound and ground with the Siddaramaiah. Now, the High Command will weigh in. Who's got the majority of MLAs? Who've got the dozens of cabinet ministers? The name is sacrosanct, which is Sri Adanya Siddaramaiah ji.
Okay, so Siddaramaiah, you're saying, is having a very clear edge. But you spoke about the Vokkaliga community also being divided in the state, but there could be a backlash because now you have even the Adi Chunchandgiri Mutt coming out to say that the Vokkaliga community supported the Congress party, thinking DK Shivkumar will be the chief minister.
But also, there was a seer of the same Vokkaliga community who said that we religious people should not enter the matters of politics.
But they would say that, but in Karnataka, you know, the Mutts have a certain power they wield in Karnataka politics. And that could happen. There could be a backlash. But Mr. Ashok Gowda, is that how you see it as well? And if it does happen that the High Command decides that let's go with status quo, what could happen in Karnataka?
See, status quo also could mean that there is a backlash from lot of people. See, DK Shivkumar, of course, I will disagree with, like, you know, after Basavanna, there are a lot of social reformers which came in Karnataka, including Kanakadasa and so many other. Bhakti movement is a very big movement. Okay. And as well, post that, in Karnataka, after independence, it was Devaraju Arasu who actually did lot of things for the upliftment of the social justice in Karnataka. Post that, see, apparently Siddaramaiah is a eyewash person. He has not done anything for any groups, and he is, whether it is Kuruba community, whether it is the entire OBC community, or even for Muslims, he has not delivered on the promises what was said by him in the manifesto as well as in the open this thing. 10,000 crores was what was said in front of all the Muslims, saying that we are going to give it to the Muslim community. Where has that been delivered? That point number one. Point number two, upliftment of the Muslims will not come through anything else except for the education and skills. So that has not happened. So whether it is even for the, see, when it was a Devaraj Arasu's time, it was a land reforms and other things wherein the upliftment was required.
Since you mentioned Devaraj Aras, there has been a lot of indication also that Siddaramaiah will continue until the next budget is presented. That means that, he will have a legacy similar to Devaraj Aras, and then after that we can have a change in Karnataka. That seems to be an indication. I'll come back to you just a moment, because all of it really rests on the High Command. But the question is, when will the High Command really call DK Shivkumar and Siddaramaiah? Because the latest reaction from both the leaders suggests that they have said that High Command has not really called us. We are still waiting for the High Command to call us. Let's go across to Neha for that update. Neha, any indication? Because it's been very clear that the decision of Karnataka will be taken in Delhi. But when will that meeting take place?
Well, Pratibha, various sources had suggested to us that the meeting is likely to take place between the 29th and the 4th of December. Remember, of course, likely before the assembly session begins, the winter assembly session in the state of Karnataka, which is, of course, scheduled to be beginning beginning around the 8th of December. Likely that all of the decisions now would be taken before 8th of December. With this being said, of course, one thing that we also know at this point in time is that Mallikarjun Kharge, when he was in Bengaluru, had categorically said there would be a meeting where High Command, which essentially is Rahul Gandhi, which is him, along with other members of the Congress party, the Chief Minister and the Deputy Chief Minister would all have to sit around, of course, and hold discussions around this. What remains to be seen at this point in time is how the High Command is going to be playing the balancing act here and ensuring that no community is left unhappy, because the promise that they came to power in the state of Karnataka, that they'd given the people, was good governance, which right now, of course, seems to have taken a backseat with the entire political tussle that's currently underway in the state.
Okay, all right. So that decision will be taken by the High Command, trying to ensure that there is no backlash from any community. But how can they really ensure that? That's a big question. We also had a meeting that took place. Remember, there have been hectic parleys, hectic meetings that have been taking place, including Priyank Kharge also meeting the Deputy Chief Minister DK Shivkumar. What transpired in the meeting, only the two leaders know. Until yesterday, Yatindra Sitaramayya had also claimed that there is no 2.5-year understanding between the two leaders. Listen in to what BK Hariprasad said today.
Everything is going well and good. There is no problem. We are a democratic party. At the earliest, High Command will intervene, sort out the issues. I don't want to comment on what the community says, what the Swamiji says. Only I feel happy people who are supporting BJP, Narendra Modi, they are giving good advice to us. That's a welcome sign. Thank you.
So there you heard it, BK Hariprasad saying all is well, there's nothing to worry about at all. This amid clear speculations that both the leaders could be called to the national capital. So you wanted to come in here, Abbas, on what could happen next. Okay. There have been a lot of indications that there is an understanding within the Congress party that Siddaramaiah will continue, present the next budget, and then there could be a change.
I'll tell you, as a matter of fact, let me make a prophecy on Times Now today, on the Times Media Network, that come January, Siddaramaiah ji will become the longest serving Chief Minister of Karnataka. He will break the record of former Chief Minister Shri Devraj Aris. Coming to the point my friend Ashok Gowda of BJP made, that he's been an eyewash what he's done. Kalyan Karnataka, Kittur Karnataka, Hyderabad Karnataka. Go to the grassroots of nook and corners of Karnataka. You will be testimony of the work done by this great leader called Siddaramaiah. Just like we cannot discount.
There were leaders, including DK Shivkumar, who would come out and say that development is not taking place in Karnataka because we have to fulfill these guarantees. So was this Siddaramaiah's way of also ensuring that he solidifies his vote bank in a way that the High Command will find it difficult to get rid of him?
The Congress government under Siddaramaiah, from the state of Karnataka, we are the second largest contributor of the GDP of the nation. Number 2 on GST tax collection. We have outpaced the national growth by 6.2%. Agriculture has gone by 4%. Bengaluru continues to be the startup capital of India, and also we are the Silicon Valley of the East, only second to California. All of this has happened under Siddaramaiah's governance over the last 2.5 years. So therefore, trying to discount that Siddaramaiah is an eyewash is absolutely unfair. Just like saying Yediyurappa was an eyewash, whereas a contribution of Yediyurappa has been large.
Okay, but
we across party lines,
BJP saying it? Weren't there people from Congress who said that there's no development?
Let me tell you, Pratibha. See, what has happened is I attended one civic, an NGO who had done a seminar on 31st of October 2025. They had clearly mapped in the past 30 months what kind of a development has happened. They have, believe me or not, on record we can state this, 3.67% is what they have delivered in the past this 30 months, and even what they are suggesting is, even if they go at this pace, they are going to deliver maximum to maximum 17% of the promises which were set in the manifesto as well as in the public this thing. So when this is the case, and now Papa, our Abbas does not know that the history of Karnataka very well, I think, probably. SM Krishna, then he discounts SM Krishna, who contributed, who made 3,000 was the revenue of Karnataka. 30,000 crores it became. So whose period it was? SM Krishna. See, there are a lot of factors why Bangalore is growing, not by Siddaramaiah or anything. No, see, Siddaramaiah was known for welfare schemes, not for anything else. Even in the welfare scheme, come to one, I'll tell you one scheme. Bhagya Lakshmi scheme, which was announced by Yediyurappa ji in 2008. Believe me, the Karnataka Karnataka treasury has become emptied so much that the scheme of Bhagya Lakshmi scheme, they don't have money to give it for the people who are
not
getting
just
matured.
BJP
No,
saying it,
I'll
but
finish
you know
it.
the point
I'll finish
is-
it, Pratibha. See,
How?
coming to the Devaraja Arasu's record, there are two records. One thing is, see, Devaraja Arasu had completed 7 years, 283 days. Okay, this was the chief minister tenure. Siddaramaiah, there is a gross and net. Gross and net is very simple. See, Siddaramaiah, after coming out of the power in 2018, he continued to be the chief minister till Yediyurappa took power. So then that is one. Second thing is post this also. The mandate came on 13th of May and they took the power on 26th.
Okay.
Or the announcement was made on 23rd. All this put together, December 9th is what actually he completes with the gross thing.
Yes.
Next thing he completes it on January 19th. Sorry, January 12th. January 12th.
Very
so,
quickly, yeah.
no, let me tell you. See, whatever it is, it's not about breaking record. Just by beating Sachin Tendulkar's record, I will not become Sachin Tendulkar. I will become Sachin Tendulkar by consistent performance. Devaraja Arasu.
That's what the Congress party is calculating. That's what Siddaramaiah seems to be calculating. Huh?
Allow me. Now I will answer you. I will answer you.
For the welfare
Respected
of
sir.
welfare of the
Respected
entire
sir.
Karnataka. Siddaramaiah did not do that.
Now allow me.
Siddaramaiah
Pratibha,
has
allow me.
backstabbed everybody.
Okay, let's see what the response is.
Siddaramaiah open statement
So in
says,
everybody's
connectivity
era,
with
there is a
the
leader.
established. Can he openly say it in
can
front
I-
of H. Vishwanath?
can I-
H. Vishwanath
okay.
is the
Very
person
quickly,
who
in terms of numbers, is Siddaramaiah looking for a legacy?
Sachin Tendulkar was a great leader, but before him was Sunil Gavaskar. Everybody has an era. It is the Virat Kohli era. Now coming to Siddaramaiah, respected sir had to use the name of a Congress chief minister, S.M. Krishna, 3,000 crore. Wait, sir, I did not interrupt. 3,000 crore. Sir, no, 30
The
seconds.
legacy fight, I want to know if it's a Congress party. Very quickly, yeah.
He said 3,000 crore to 30,000 crore was done by whom? S.M. Krishna, Congress party. He didn't take Yediyurappa's name. He didn't take D.V. Sadanand Gowda's name. The fact is, it is the Congress leaders like S.M. Krishna, Devaraja Arasu, Siddaramaiah who've taken Karnataka.
Krishna then went on to join the BJP as well. Okay, all right. When we talk of legacy, is that what Siddaramaiah is chasing?